Hey fans, viewers, and listeners, welcome to another exciting episode of Fight Inside Podcast. I'm your co-host for today, Raine Cruz, also known as Ringside Raine, ring announcer for Up Next Fighting. And with me as always is Timmy B. Before we get things started, please follow and subscribe to Fight Inside Podcast so you can get the latest news and episodes from our show. Our guest today is Smile'N Sam Alvey, who will talk about the rules of karate combat and his upcoming fight at Karate Combat 43. Plus, we will look at some real numbers on how PFL is doing and whether Dana White was right in laughing off comments that PFL is the co-leader in MMA. All of that and much more. So, Tim, what are we waiting for? Hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Inside Podcast.
This man is set to compete, as Raine just said, at Karate Combat 43 in Las Vegas on December 15th. He competes for the Karate Combat heavyweight title. He is a three-time guest now of the podcast, even though he is one of the most miserable people ever. He's always grumpy, always looks mad. He always sees the glass half empty. I hope he's in a better mood today, Raine. But let's just do our best to get through this. Raine, please bring him in.
Please welcome Smile'N Sam Alvey!
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Sam, how are you, my friend?
Grumpy right now.
You should see me when I'm happy. It's ridiculous.
You wouldn't be able to contain it all in just one podcast, right? You'd explode. Smile'N Sam, obviously, this is an introduction that was meant to be a joke because you are the happiest guy on the planet. And how happy are you now competing for heavyweight gold in karate combat?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, my career started in a karate dojo. I mean, that's where I started. Now to be fighting for, I mean, honestly, the most prestigious belt in all of karate. It's just a dream come true. And I'm so excited to get in there, get my gold belt and, walk away champion.
Dude, it is crazy. Seeing you in there, seeing you compete. What was it? A couple months ago? No. How long ago was it?
2 or 3 months ago now. It wasn't that long ago. I got my big knockout. It took me about 1 minute and 8 seconds. And it was enough to show the karate combat people in charge that, all right, we want him as champion. So they threw me the middleweight champion is coming up to fight me at 205. And that's where we're going to go. We're going to throw down and I'm going to get that gold belt.
Dude, you're going to look so good. What goes really good with a gold belt is a nice big smile.
Yeah, I need a grill. If we get a gold grill.
Yeah, that would go good. Smile'N Sam, first off, I want to say thank you for coming on. And of course, hello to your wife and all your children. Everybody's doing good at home?
Oh, they're doing wonderful. And I got so many kids. So I'm out in California right now. And so I left my wife home alone. My parents came out to help. But for the most part, my wife's home alone taking care of 6 kids while I finish my camp out here in California for the next 2 weeks.
Very nice.
You gotta have a present for her when you go back home.
I better have. Well, she's gonna meet me in Vegas. So my present is she gets to come out and she's cornering me. She's gonna spend a week with me in Las Vegas.
Good.
Nice.
I love it. You guys are an inseparable duo, Sam. And so I love it when I get to see her in your corner, of course, as always. I did want to say, you mentioned Karate Combat, the president. You've gone from having Dana White. Now you're with Dana Brown. President Awesome. That dude is killing it with the promotion for Karate Combat. How important is that for you to have that guy as part of it?
It's been so nice working with another promotion that tries so hard to elevate their fighters, to make their fighters, household names. And they've been, especially this being a title fight, they've had camera crews filming me. They've gone out of the way to make sure that they can advertise my fight. And it's so exciting.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's so great. But like, he's brought a lot of highlight to Karate Combat since he has become the president of Karate Combat. You know, he's the head of the Goat Shed, which, you know, fans and viewers of the podcast will know from Goat Shed, right? From all their great athletes. So he's out there. Raine, you'll know him. He's the guy that was twerking with the girl Aylin Perez the other time.
Oh, okay.
That guy. He's the president. Sam, when you win at karate combat, is it a rule that you must twerk afterwards?
I hope not, because I ain't doing it. I've got some standards.
Okay.
Yeah. They will not call me Twerking Sam.
No. Okay. Thank goodness. And Sam, for those that don't know, what are the rules of karate combat? Because in reality, man, I don't know that I know 100%. Do you know? I hope you know.
Yeah. No, I know. All right. So off the bat, a lot of the same rules from MMA apply. No fish hooking, no groin strikes, stuff like that. Now, a couple changes. They don't allow elbows. The strangest of all of them is you're not allowed to kick between the knee and the hip. So I can kick the calf and I can kick anything above the hip. And that's just it's to try and keep the pace going. Karate combat, it is the fastest moving combat sport there is. Every match is just, it's really quick. Now there's no jujitsu involved, but there are takedowns. If I take someone down, but my knees are on the ground, it's an immediate stand up. So again, it's a way to make the action continue going, because I'm good at jujitsu. I'm great at wrestling. I'm good. And it's the most boring part of any fight. So they don't let it sit on there very much. Now, if I get a big throw or I hit him and he drops and I'm still standing, I get 5 seconds to try and TKO him. And it's kind of fun that they have a big announcer, 1, 2, 3. And then the ref will either stop it, or at count 5, they put us both back on our feet and we get to continue. So those are the biggest changes. But now the most fun change is it's not in a cage, it's not in a ring, it's not in anything like that. It's in a pit. It is a 4-walled, 45-degree angle slope on a pit. So it's hard. Boxers can fight out of the rings. MMA guys can get their back foot against the cage and strike out. It's so difficult to do in karate combat. Yeah. If I knock someone onto the pit wall, it's hard to get back up, but it's almost impossible to strike off it. But I can do whatever I want to him. I can kick him in the head. I can elbow drop him from the top rope kind of thing. I can do whatever I want to them if they're on that pit wall. It's the same as standing. And the only way they can do it is find a way to fight off or get themselves to the ground. So I can stop them from getting to the ground. I get to ground and pound for as long as I want.
So hold on. So you can head kick them if they're lying on the 45-degree angle, but not if they're on the ground.
Correct. If I'm on the ground, it's like MMA, no.
Yeah. Okay.
But if they're on the slanted, pit wall, I can do whatever I want to them.
Oh, that's crazy, Sam. I did not know that rule. And I will say the look of the karate combat pit is perfection. That thing is
so cool. It's what attracted me to the sport first. It's like that's cool to fight in. And it's now I've gotten to fight in it, but I finished my first fight in like a minute, so I didn't get to play on the pit at all. So that was a little disappointing, but I'm looking forward to having a little more time. Hopefully not. Hopefully I get out there and knock him out real quick again, but he's pretty good. So I'm anticipating I'm going to get to play in that pit a little bit.
Yeah. Now, Sam, I would be more than happy if you come away from this fight a little bit disappointed because you finished this one too fast as well.
It's like the first one, I swore, I told everyone, listen, I'm going to play, I'm going to jump, I'm going to do everything on that pit wall. And I just went out and knocked them out real quick. How boring. I hope to do the same thing this time, but we'll see. Maybe he'll give me a little more time I can play on that pit wall.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. I love it. I love the whole thing. I'm glad that you explained the rules. Clinching? What's the rule on clinching?
All right, so I can clinch all I want. I can strike out of the clinch, but I'm not allowed to knee him in the head if I'm holding the clinch. So I can pull him down, and before my knee strikes, I can let go. I can trip him out of the clinch. I can do any of that. I just can't hold the clinch and do like a Muay Thai kind of knee. And then, of course, again, still no elbows.
Okay. Right. And is there any special training that you've done to change up who you are or how you fight? I mean, obviously you're not practicing elbows, you're not practicing as much jujitsu and whatnot, but anything specific you're doing?
I working that ground and pound, because you get
from
those takedowns. Yeah, being able to jump from striking on the feet to striking on the ground can be difficult. So I've been doing a ton of ground and pound exercises, just getting ready to be able to explode downwards if I need to.
Very nice. Sam, I'm so happy, man, that you're there. Like, I was so happy when I saw you there, when you got your win. I mean, you got your other MMA win as well at the smaller organization. Then you go to Karate Combat. Sam, I'm not going to say anything. You look pretty damn good with those karate pants, too. I like the look. You know what I mean?
I didn't think I would. I thought they'd be uncomfortable. I felt so cool with that on. I did. And then they gave me the black belt to tie it all together, and I felt cool walking into that pit.
Yeah, it really looked good. It reminds me of like the old Van Damme movies.
Yeah.
You know, all they have to do, please tell the president, they've just got to light a fire around the ring. I need to see flames at the edges of the pit.
He might do it. He might do it.
That dude is crazy.
Yeah.
But I want to see flames. I want to see flames so that if you get too close, you get a little singe. Not a lot. A little smell.
A little off the top, yeah.
Yeah, a little haircut. That's all we need. Raine, is there anything that you wanted to ask Mr. Smile'N Sam Alvey? Is there anything that you wanted to know?
You know, he's always smiling. He always has his positive energy. I'm just curious. I know some fighters, they get all like, they give you that attitude where, and, you know, I don't care if you're nice to me, you're smiling at me, you know, I'm gonna be tough and all that. Have you ever encountered that? And then if so, how did you handle it?
Oh, they all say that. They all know it doesn't bother. It really does. I mean, it does. I love it when the people are friendly with me. But fighters, man, they're all just a bunch of jocks. And there's like, I'm fighting. I'm going to fight. This is fighting. And it's have some fun with it. We get to travel the world. We get to do something that I mean, honestly, all of us would do it for free. All of us do it for free. And we're finding somebody to pay us to do it. There are so many reasons to be happy with what we've been able to accomplish in this sport. Be happy with it. Enjoy the moment.
Love that answer.
Yeah.
Even with a smile, so he ended with a smile.
Of course. He's always smiling. He's the greatest. Sam, what does Karate Combat have to do? We're going to talk about PFL later, and I don't want to get you in trouble in case you know anybody. But PFL making the comments that they're the co-leader and blah, blah, blah. Like I've got lots of data to objectively show why this is really bad for them. But what does Karate Combat have to do to elevate up? Because I feel like Karate Combat's in a very unique position. They've got a unique product. They've got stars. They've got the look. They've got the president. They are in a very prime position to move up. What does Karate Combat have to do to get more public appeal and more public notice?
I feel like they're doing it at warp speed right now. That they brought me in, who I'm not known as a karate guy in the UFC, but upon talking to me and them, I said, listen, I've spent most of my career doing karate, training in dojos and doing all that. That they're willing to bring an ex-UFC star in. That the main event for my card is Benson Henderson versus Anthony Pettis. They're making moves. They're bringing people in that bring eyes to the screen. And that's what they have to do. I don't mean it because they are my employer right now, but they are the fastest action combat sport out there. And there's not a close second. MMA is wonderful. I absolutely love it. A good MMA fight is wonderful. It goes to the ground and it slows down. Yes, jiu-jitsu is wonderful and arm bars are great and all that, but it still slows the action down. Wrestling is the same way. Jiu-jitsu tournaments, boxing is kind of the same way. There are the slow moments. The karate, because most of the stars in the karate circuit are point spars, they have to be fast. So the entire roster is filled with people that are fast, that have been trained their entire career, their entire life to strike fast, to strike quick, to get in, to get out, and make every attempt to hit successful. And it's been so much fun watching some of the guys that came up through the Kumite become pros and now are fighting. And they're just fighting at a speed that cannot be matched or has not been matched in any other combat sport. So everything Karate Combat can do to get more eyes onto them, just to open the door, say, yeah, this is faster than the UFC. This is faster than Muay Thai. This is faster than so much more. And people are getting knocked out in almost every fight. Or TKO'd at the very least. It adds to the watchability of it. And so I think they're doing it by putting these big fights and accepting big names into their promotion.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it, Sam. I love it. And I really do hope that you'll, continue along this path. I want you to get the gold. I want you to then sit there and defend it and be happy and kick ass and be a spokesperson for the sport. I think that you could be that, you could be the person that they can bank on because you've got the name, you've got the look. It's all set for you, my friend. Like, I feel like everything in your life has led you to this. I'm so happy for you. I do want to ask one thing. I was trying to research it and I saw a few things. If it's too personal, it's okay. But the pay wise is good. I think I saw some things where you said the pay is good. You're happy.
Yeah, no, nothing pays like the UFC. The UFC is the highest paying. I was making really good money with the UFC. For coming into an organization, my first fight with Karate Combat, I made more money than my first fight with the UFC. And so the pay was as good as I was able to find anywhere else. And the pay is going up like most organizations. You win and it goes up. Yeah. And they're doing very well with working with me. They're giving me every opportunity to make a career, a livable wage, a profitable wage with their organization. And once I get that belt, it's only going to go up.
That's right, baby. It is. And you're going to need the money for the Golden Grill for the teeth.
Yes. Spend it all on getting the gold plates.
Yeah. Sam, I want to ask you a final question, if you don't mind. It's something that I've been asking all the guests now for the past long little while. I've never asked you, though, because I haven't had you on in a while. It's a question that my mom used to ask me all the time growing up as a child. So I'm going to ask you, Smile'N Sam Alvey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
Oh, man, I'm a solid 10 almost always. Every now and then I'll be a little sore, a little something else, but I'm still happy. Because again, I get to travel. My last fight was in the Dominican Republic, where they flew me down there, paid for me to be there, paid for me to win, highlighted my fight, and now I get to do the same thing in Las Vegas. And I've been to 43 or 44 countries in the world doing what I love to do because of the how much I get to enjoy this. And so my happiness is just, it would be unfair for me to be unhappy because I have been given so many blessings. I've got a beautiful wife. I have 6 kids. I have, 60 something farm animals. I've got dogs. My dogs are a reason to not be happy. My dogs are kind of pains in the butt, but I've still got them. I've got a pet pig that sleeps on my couch. Life is good, and as hard as some things can be, there's always a way to look at the plus side, the positive side of things.
Yeah. Good for you, Sam. And I'm so happy for you, my friend. Thank you again so much for coming on the podcast. Is there anything that you want to say before we let you go to the fans, viewers, and listeners of Fight and Sight podcast?
Yeah, so I'm growing my YouTube channel. Like I'm doing everything I can to grow it. I'm about 40 hours from being monetized on YouTube, which is like one video. I'm going to post something later today. I was sparring today with he jokes, an elderly gentleman, but dude knocked the air out of me. I took it too light on him and he made me pay. So I'm growing my YouTube channel. It's Smile'N Sam on YouTube. And I heard you mention, I don't have to get into it big time, but I heard you talking about the PFL and everything.
Yeah.
I love what PFL has done. I made a post the other day about if you compare the PFL Bellator champions to the UFC champions, I think PFL Bellator has more champions that'll win right now if they were to fight each other. I had it 5-4 in PFL Bellator's favor. I could be wrong. Any fight, something could happen, but they have, with this purchase, they may not have bought the eyes on the screen, but they have bought so much talent, so many weight classes, so many ways to advance their promotion. I do see them as they're the second biggest organization in the world, or the second most. I don't know if they're profitable yet, but they're doing enough to make. But they're doing enough that I could see them becoming profitable if they get those.
Well, let me throw something at you though. Do you think they will be number 2 before ONE FC is number 2?
I don't think ONE FC is an issue over here because they don't fight over here. They had the one fight in Colorado, and I still think it aired at like 1 a.m. or something. I mean, nobody over here can watch ONE. And I'm aware ONE has the potential to have more eyes on their screen than the UFC does, but they don't. And it's now that Demetrius Johnson is retired, I don't think they have any champions that could compete with the UFC. They have a good product. I love what they do. I think they've got some very talented fighters, but a lot of their talent lacks wrestling. And that's something you need wrestling to be considered one of the best in the world. So they're growing. I power to them. I hope they explode. The more competition there is in the world of MMA, the higher the pay will get for everyone.
Yes.
So I love one. I try and watch it. I try and support their YouTube and their TikTok and their Instagram and all that. Just the more eyes that are on any MMA production increases the pay for everyone. And without the eyes that have been on the UFC and the PFL and the Bellator, I wouldn't make as much as I do with Karate Combat. And Karate Combat is helping increase the pay for everyone else. Like Karate Combat has Benson Henderson and Anthony Pettis, two UFC ex-champions, fighting on their card. And it's all because competition increases the pay. And so I'm so tickled with, and I'm truly hoping PFL Bellator make a dent in the MMA world. I hope they put something together and come up with a product that really I can't say the word, really increases the marketability of their fighters and their promotion.
Right. Well, that's the thing, Sam. That's why I love Karate Combat. That's why I like BKFC. That's why I like these other organizations that bring something new, because I do worry that people just don't have the time for another organization that is so similar. At least ONE FC has the Muay Thai, has the kickboxing, right? They have a little bit of a different slant on things. So that's interesting. I am saying right here, though, at Smile'N Sam for Smile'N Sam. That's what you are on YouTube. I've got your Instagram handle down on the bottom. Actually, it's the same, Smile'N Sam, right there as well. Yeah. Sam, I apologize, my friend. I was not subscribed, but I am now. I've just pressed it. So there you go.
I'm going to subscribe right now, too.
I appreciate that. I do.
Monetized. Yeah. We're going to get you
monetized here in the next week or so, the next few days, I'm hoping. And then I will be making dozens of dollars on YouTube. And I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. Smile. I'm just going to keep going. And maybe I'll be the next Chael Sonnen.
Hey, if only we could all be so lucky as to be like Uncle Chael. Sam, Raine, anything that you want to say to Mr. Smile'N Sam before we go?
I can tell how much you love your wife. You mentioned, you have this support of your beautiful wife. How do you spoil her? In times like this, you're focused on training, right? And she's being all supportive. But then after the fight, how do you spoil her? How do you give back to your beautiful wife?
Oh, that's a good question. I should do something. You have any ideas? You have anything good I should do? Like most husbands, I'm sure I do not do as much as I should, but I try to make sure she knows how appreciated she is. I try to make sure she can do whatever it is she's looking to do. And that's kind of where we're going to continue off. I'm trying to give her some time away from the 6 kids because she has them by herself for the next 7 days. I'll try and give her every opportunity to go out and enjoy herself without the load of her family on her at all moments.
Yeah. But that said, Sam, it is a beautiful family that you guys have together. It's a beautiful relationship that you guys have. We can see it all the time. It's evident in everything that you say and do. Say hello to her for me. I haven't spoken to her in a while too, but say hello. She's a great person. And Sam, all the best. I'm going to put the picture up here just before you go. There's the photo. Friday, December 15th, Karate Combat KC 43, Las Vegas, Levine versus Alvey, the heavyweight championship fight. Smile'N Sam, all the best to you, my friend. I cannot wait to see you, and we will see you again on this podcast for sure. All the best to you, my friend.
That sounds great. Thank you, guys, and it's so nice to meet you, Raine.
Nice to meet you, too. Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
Take care. Bye. I wish he would smile more. You know what I mean? Like, why can't he?
I mean, that poster that you showed us, it's like he's not even smiling.
I know. That is funny, actually. If you are not watching the video on YouTube or Spotify, you can come over and check. But, I've never seen, his opponent is there, looks like in the middle of like a guttural roar. And there's Smile'N Sam, just happy as can be.
It's like someone who was hangry, right? And then the person ends up eating food and then all smiles after.
Yeah. He's the best. He's a really great guy. I wish him all the best, guys. Make sure you go support him. Go follow him on YouTube, man. Like, help him get monetized and figure that out and make some money. He's got 6 kids to feed. Raine,
and some farm animals and dogs. Beautiful wife, oil. Yeah. Come on, guys. Let's go.
did you know? And I don't know, because I feel like there's always new viewers and fans of MMA and combat sports. His wife won, I want to say, the first season of America's Next Top Model.
I love that show. Oh my God, really?
Do you really? Yeah, she's a winner.
Yeah, I love that show. Oh my God. I remember I saw Tyra Banks randomly somewhere in LA, and I really wanted to take a picture with her because I watched America's Next Top Model. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hold back. She's like eating her ramen. I don't know. She came out of a ramen place, I think, or a Japanese.
And you're 1,000,000% sure it's her?
Yeah, it was her. Because when she came out, everyone started looking at her, right? And I think she was just waiting for someone. And then she kind of stopped, and I looked at her and I said, "Hi, Tyra." And she just said, "Hi." So that was it. I went to take a picture with her, but I was just like, you know what? You're having your, personal time. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, take a picture.
Look, you've grown from that moment, right? Because now Raine is not afraid to take photos with people. Here we are at UNF.
Oh, hell yeah.
Here are 3 photos of Raine with FIS alumni. There is Judge Mike Bell, or Referee Mike Bell for UNF. There's Judge Chris Lieben. Look at what swagger and style he is with that suit. Looks great. And then there is last week's guest, Mr. Gianni Vasquez. Now, fans of the podcast will say, why is he not wearing fighters' clothing if he's at the event that he was headlining? And Raine, our dear friend Gianni Vasquez, is still the champion, but he did not fight. Do you want to explain what happened?
I guess his opponent backed out. So his opponent backed out. And then I felt really bad for Gianni because I remember, we had him in a podcast last week and he was very, very excited.
Yeah.
And, just to see that, his fight got canceled, I felt really bad for him.
Yeah.
He was looking forward, for that night, for that moment, to defend his title. And, he didn't get that moment. He didn't get to show everyone what he's made of. And, he is still the champion, but I think he would have loved to still be the champion, but also to show everyone that, hey, I fought to, defend my title.
Yeah, of course, because he was looking for this fight to be able to defend his title. You're now champion with a defense. Okay, UFC, where's my call? Right? This was a big thing for him. You got to think he's there in California. He's probably got friends and family there that have made the trip or purchased tickets or whatever. Mind you, his opponent backs out like hours before the fight. He weighed in. They both made weight. They both did their standoffs. They both did their interviews. Like, it was very last minute this guy bails out. And apparently he said he was just too big or something. He said Gianni was just...
because Johnny posted something like that, right? On his Instagram, I believe. Yeah.
So, Gianni's not happy about it, obviously. Right? Like, Gianni's not keen on this and not happy about it. Obviously, he wanted to fight. He's a fighting. Yeah. I feel so bad for the dude. And I just wish him all the best. And I hope that things work out for him. Raine, one of the craziest things happened. Again, Kate Batchick takes a fight on, this was like 6 days. We had said on our podcast, Raine, we were joking, and we said, hey, by the time this podcast comes out, maybe you're going to be fighting next week. Ha, ha, ha. Because you just took a fight on 2 days' notice for the last one. Sure enough, before our next episode, she's already had another fight. Insane, and she wins by, I believe, triangle choke in the 3rd round. Congratulations, Kate Batchick. That's 3 wins for 2023 for her. So heading into great things into 2024 for our friend Kate. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know. Congratulations to Kate. It's like, I feel like we manifested, that fight for her.
Yeah. I know. I mean, thank God we told her to keep her nails trimmed. We didn't have to cut them on the stage again. But yeah, there she is. And so that's it. Raine, UNF, how was it? Did you have a wonderful time? You looked very stylish with your UNF jacket. Like, it was the blue color, looked good, sparkly. They had
it was green.
Oh, really? It
was green.
It looks like a teal color.
You know what? You're right. Yeah. It is more of like teal. Yeah. Green.
Yeah. It looks like
yeah.
It looks very close to like a UNF color. Like it was good.
Yeah. So. Oh my God. I remember I brought that outfit for my second UNF event back in July, but I was so bummed that I couldn't wear it because it's too hot. Right. So fast forward to, our event on December 2nd, I was like, you know what? It's like 60 degrees. I'm too cold, It's probably nothing for you, by the way. I was too cold. And you know what? I was like, I'm just going to wear this sparkly, outfit. And then, I loved it. And, honestly, I feel really blessed and grateful for the opportunity to be a part of Up Next Fighting. This past Saturday was my 5th show with UNF, and every single show, every single event has been a learning experience. It's always great to meet fighters. I announced someone who made his debut fight that night.
Nice.
We had a bunch of rising stars, amateur fighters at UNF 14. And it's always, always, always great to announce them because, kind of like what we talk about when we had Rory Gillis, right? When he said, it's all, even though he's an amateur fighter, he said it's always nice to feel like you're being treated like a pro, like you're a superstar. And I know our amateur fighters and even the pro fighters, they always feel like, taken care of, that we respect them as fighters. And it was great. And it was a great experience just to be able to announce fighters again. And, I got my fist bump from Johnny.
Nice.
So I was so happy.
It wasn't bad. I saw like when you took it looked strong. He was like more like sideways, like almost like a 90 degrees.
I know. I should do that because I'm like this, like a.
No, yours was good. It was respectable. It was good. Now, did anyone fist bump you while you were saying their name in the cage?
You know what? We had like a parade when we introduced the fighters, right? Yeah. There were two guys.
For those that don't know, when she says parade, Raine's talking like old school. Like 1FC does it. 1FC will bring up all the fighters of the night and have them kind of stand there on the stage for a second so that you kind of see them all and then send them off their way. So I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I announced the guys from the blue corner and the other ring announcer for that night, Chad Fishburne, he announced the fighters from the red corner. So the guys from the blue corner were leaving, and there's 2 of them that gave me a fist bump. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. They liked it. And then for the actual fights, there were some fighters who, one of them, he's an amateur fighter. He gave me a salute after I announced him. And I think there was a part wherein I was announcing someone, and while I was belting out their name, he screamed. And I think he just felt like, oh my God, this is my moment.
Nice. No, that's awesome.
And it's always nice, when you get that reaction from the fighters, because I respect them a lot. And when they give me that kind of reaction, I feel the respect back, what I do. Yeah. So.
No, I know that you're doing a killer job. I did speak briefly with Judge Mike Bell. And I was like, oh, you're there with Raine again. He goes, yep, she was kicking ass again. Like, he's very complimentary of you as well. So I know he really enjoys what you do. But no, the videos that I saw of you, it's getting better and better, I would say. Like, really, I think you're getting better and better. So
I feel at home.
Yeah.
I feel at home. And I remember telling my husband before our event on Saturday, I told my husband, I'm really, really excited for you in F14. And, I remember stepping into the cage that day and it just felt home. I felt really comfortable and seeing Judge Mike Bell, he reffed that night, but it's always good when he walks into the cage because he's smiling at me.
No, he's such a good guy.
And Chris Leben too. Chris Leben had that big smile on his face.
Yeah. When my wife saw the photo with you and Chris Leben, she's like, whoa, look at how handsome this guy. Like, she was like she couldn't believe how he looked, and so jovial and with his cool looking suit. Very cool. Very, very nice. I do want to give shout out friends of the podcast update as well. Of course, the RageWorks podcast network. We're on that network. So if you're listening to us on audio and you like audio podcasts, go to rageworksnetwork.com. You can find us there as well as other great podcasts. Of course, my dear friend Bobby Green and Julia Avila, they both fought at UFC last weekend. Unfortunately, they did not get the wins, both of them. So unfortunate to them, but they will be back. Both of them have had setbacks before, and they always bounce back. So I'm not worried about them at all. I send them both all my love, of course. What else is going on next week on the podcast? I don't know. I don't know who's coming on. I have a couple of leads on some people, so I'm not 1,000,000% sure. Raine and I woke up very early. Well, I woke up very early. You stayed up very late to try and interview someone.
I stayed up late.
It didn't work out today, but we're apparently doing it tomorrow, so we'll see what happens with that. But that podcast won't come out till later. I'm not going to spoil that. And we'll see. We were supposed to have on another gentleman that just won at UFC last weekend as well, but he came up, something happened like very, very last minute. So he did not make it right now, but hopefully maybe next week we'll see what happens. And
a rain check. It was a rain check.
A rain check?
Yeah.
All right. So I think what we'll do is we'll talk about something. And this is okay because now this gives me more time to kind of fully go through this. I've got lots of slides to show. So again, if you're not on the audio, the video version of the podcast, come on over, check it out, or I'll try to explain as best as possible. But this all starts with this here, Raine. And I don't know how much you know about all this, Raine, but this is Dana White. He was asked about PFL and some of the comments that PFL has made and about being like a co-leader. So Dana White just says, it's effing hilarious. Good for them. I wish them all the luck in the world. I've covered this before. One shitty organization that sells no tickets and nobody watches buys another shitty organization that sells no tickets and nobody watches. Sounds like an effing winner to me. Woohoo. So Dana White is not impressed and is not very concerned with the product or the, I guess, competition of PFL, right? Smile'N Sam made a very interesting comment. He goes, well, if you looked at their champions versus UFC's champions, maybe they could win. I don't know that matters to me, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, even if they had like a bunch of champions who could beat the UFC one, it's not about the champion. It's about the whole organization. It's about the whole product. So I don't know. What do you think about that? You think you'll never know if they could beat them anyways, because anyone can beat anyone on any given night at that level. But do you think that matters? Do you think that makes PFL co-leader?
Like what? If their fighters beat like the UFC fighters? Is that what we're...
Well, like if like Sam thinks they could. Like if you thought, oh, well, they've got like 3 or 4 champions that could beat the UFC guys. Does that really make the organizations equal?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but it will definitely bring the spotlight towards that organization. For example, if that were to happen, right? If there's like a PFL versus UFC like fighters, right?
Which will never happen.
Exactly. But like if for some, crazy reason like that happens, right? I feel like, if PFL fighters win against UFC fighters, then the spotlight would be like on them. I feel like UFC is such a global brand that, for the most part, if you're not in the MMA scene, it's like, someone tells you about PFL. It's like, oh, okay, another MMA organization, great. But it's it's kind of like NBA, right? NBA versus, there's other like leagues, right? But it's like, when you think of basketball, you think of NBA.
Right.
When you think of MMA, you think of UFC. When you think of wrestling, you think of WWE. There's just like those really big organizations that have cemented their name, their legacy, in the industry that, there are companies that will, merge or whatever, basically start up and try to, be at that level. But I feel like it just takes a lot of time to kind of compete with that, with what other companies have started, especially if they have, cemented their legacy in the industry.
Yeah. Sometimes, like I said, when I listen back to the podcast, I catch things that you said versus like when I'm hearing it live. So the other time we were talking about PFL, we were talking about the ESPN deal, which now it has come out that he did re-sign with ESPN.
Don?
Don Davis. But PFL has now re-signed with ESPN for PFL, not for Bellator, apparently. Well, it didn't say that. So I think it's just PFL extended their contract. Raine, you had said on the other time, and I didn't catch it, but I caught it on the replay. You were saying like, well, if PFL is signed to ESPN where UFC is, and UFC has a fight on Saturday, that means PFL can never go head to head with them. They've got to go to a Friday. Like, you're now relegated to like the non-sports day. Like, do you think it's a good idea that they sign to the same network as UFC?
Right now for me, it is a good thing for them. Why? Because a lot of people watch ESPN. Shannon Knapp brought this good point. Everyone tunes in. Everyone will tune into ESPN for sports. It doesn't matter if you're watching college football, college basketball, NBA, or whatever. You're going to tune into ESPN for sports. And you might leave the TV on, and then anything else that's kind of scheduled to play that day, it's just on, right? And so I think that's like a good exposure for PFL. And if they end up showing Bellator fights too on ESPN, I think it will be a good exposure for them right now that they're trying to build something out of this relationship that they have now. I don't think it might just be kind of like a deal that they have to work with. If, PFL wants to do a show on a Saturday and UFC wants to do a show on a Saturday, how will they do that? Because that might be really a conflicting thing, right? To do both on the same Saturday,
Don't you go on ESPN the Ocho?
The ESPN Ocho, I think that's like a summer thing when there's no sports.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I guess you just want one of their other lesser channels.
Yeah, they have because they have ESPN and then ESPN2. But I don't think it's gonna make sense to have UFC and ESPN and then PFL and ESPN2 at the same time. It might be weird that way.
I know, but then Raine, but that's what I'm saying though. But then if you sign with the same organization, same network, and UFC has freaking 40 events a year, there's very few weeks. I guess maybe you're going to look for those weekends where UFC doesn't have something. Maybe that's the play, and then you catch it on there. I don't know. It seems weird to me. And I also think, Raine, do you not think it's funny that if they were going to re-sign with ESPN, that you wouldn't have re-signed before you let it know that your contract was over? I feel like if ESPN really wanted you, and if ESPN really wanted you, they would have offered to re-sign you before the contract was up to prevent you going into the market and potentially getting competing offers. If you wanted to stay with ESPN because the deal was good, you wouldn't have let the offer expire and say out loud publicly, hey, our ESPN deal is up. So I feel they lost money on this re-sign. That's the only way business-wise it makes sense to me. Because I feel like if ESPN wanted you, they would have made a strong offer and you would have re-signed. And if the offer was good, you would have re-signed. You wouldn't have started saying, I'm gone, and look at the market. And then you go out into the market, realize there's nothing, then you come back to the ESPN. So I feel like, to me, it's a sign that it's not going well.
Or maybe the network that they were in talks with backed out or didn't work out.
Sure, but then that speaks volumes, though, because then that means that you didn't have it and you couldn't use that offer as leverage against ESPN. I don't know. I just when companies come to buy this podcast from me, Raine, I will be very careful to not say wrong things to decrease my own value. You can only say those things if you think for sure you're going to be able to play those two people off one another.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact you went back to ESPN, it's that offer probably was not that good. And I bet you if you went off and then you're like, oh, well, Fox is going to pay me more money to go, I think ESPN would be like, yo, we got UFC. We're good, dude. Goodbye. I don't think ESPN's hurting for MMA content.
I don't think so either.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, next point I do want to say is that, and I don't have a slide for this, but there's an article that came out that says that ONE FC's money is going to run out at the end of 2024.
Are they going to take that bonus back from Frank? I'm just kidding.
No, Frank's already spent it. I hope he has. I hope he bought a beautiful camera, Frank, and bought that dude those drinks. Go back and check out last week's podcast. Raine, I've said this before in the podcast, both PFL and 1FC are burning money. They're both going to go bankrupt. I said it before in this podcast a million times, but there's articles now coming out saying that 1FC's backing is going to run out by the end of 2024. That is not good at all. And Smile'N Sam, I feel like Smile'N Sam maybe doesn't know 1FC that much, because there are quite a few champions there that I feel would definitely put up a good fight against UFC fighters and or PFL. Like, they have some damn good fighters there. But that it's not going to save you. Like, you got to be smart with your money. You got to figure things out. Anyways, so 1FC might be dead by the end of next year, in which case I really hope not, because those fighters, especially in that part of the world, they need an organization that's going to pay them money. They need to succeed. So 1FC needs to figure out their stuff real quick and figure out how to make this thing financially viable. Like, that's for sure.
Yeah. I feel like if they have like, a better way to distribute their show, because like right now they're on Amazon Prime, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah, and I feel like there's not really a lot of people that watch sports on Amazon Prime. I think they do football like every Thursday here.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
really?
they show NFL on Thursday nights, I believe, here in the States on Amazon Prime. And I think they're trying, to get you to tap into that, television, broadcast, whatever thing. But I feel like for 1FC, what would help them would be to get more eyeballs in their product. And if it means staying with Amazon Prime, if they somehow are able to market their, show through Amazon Prime, great. But if they need to find another provider that can distribute their show, that would help them kind of put their name out there, I think it would help them. Because,
I just don't know what it's seen.
One thing is to and the other thing is to get like the sponsorships, and then you get all the money back.
I guess. I mean, you hope so. Now, let's take a look at some numbers, because people always say, like, when I post some stuff, like I'm in some MMA groups, and people be like, Fight Insight, you're such a hater. You hate this stuff, blah blah. Okay, cool. So of course I have my own opinions. First of all, right? Like, if you're listening to this podcast and you always share the exact same opinion as me, I don't know why you'd listen to this podcast then. Like, just talking to the mirror, dude, right? Like, what's the point? Obviously, you want to hear like competing, like differing opinions. But now I'm going to hit you with some numbers, okay? The first one is a post that, so PFL does a post on Instagram. And it's a post for their last card, which was the finals of the season. This is the biggest PFL event of the year. It's a pay-per-view. It's all the finals, all the champions, like 5-6 titles, I don't know, 100 titles on the line, whatever. They do a post showing that card. Okay. UFC puts out a post kind of around the same time or same day for the fight night main event of next weekend's card, which is two guys that, no offense, are not blow your socks off. Like, I'm not running to watch this fight, right? So I'm going to show it on the screen here. And I took the photo like a few hours, because it tells you how many hours ago they posted the photo, right? So here we go. Oops, I got to take this thingy off at the bottom. The PFL post, and it's very hard to see. On the left-hand side, it was posted, the PFL one, when I took this 4 hours ago, they got 6,000 likes. UFC's post for this uninteresting main event, again, I apologize, Song versus Gutierrez, after 20 minutes, 11,000 likes. Like, their reach is so much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they probably have, more followers too on social media. That's why they have that many.
Yeah. So does this mean anything to you, Raine?
I mean, it just shows, kind of like my point earlier, that UFC is a global brand, and a lot of people, when they think of MMA, they think of UFC, I mean, there could be like other leagues out there, but the first thing that you will think about is UFC. I mean, prior to me going into the MMA scene, I only knew of UFC, and then now that I'm in the MMA industry, it's like, oh, there's this league too. Oh, that league too. Oh, great, great, great. And so I think that's, it goes down to, a lot of people, even though they love MMA, sometimes they just know UFC. That's it. They'll just watch UFC because to them that is MMA. And with that post, within 20 minutes, 11,000 likes right away compared to the other one, 6,000 likes within 4 hours. I mean, if we probably compare how many followers UFC has compared to PFL, I mean, UFC probably has way more than PFL.
Yeah. Can you hear me still?
I can hear you. You kind of froze a little bit. You're not moving, but I can hear you.
I think my screen is frozen, which means I'm going to go yell at my provider, but that's fine as long as you can hear me. Yeah. Okay. But how long after you got into the MMA space did you realize PFL existed?
I randomly saw it on ESPN, to be honest with you. And honestly, I think I saw PFL prior to me starting in the MMA industry. I saw it on ESPN. And actually, when I first saw it, I was like, is that UFC? Again, brings me back to the point we're in. Someone like, myself from months ago, when you say MMA, I think of UFC. When you tell me wrestling, I think of WWE. When you tell me basketball, I think of NBA.
Yeah. But okay, but if you're a fan, right? Like the thing is, and I apologize for my screen being frozen. I don't know what to do. But if you're a fan, right? It's weird to me that you wouldn't follow both.
Uh-huh.
So like if you're a fan of UFC and you're one of their like 39 million followers or whatever the hell it is, why would you not be following PFL unless it's indicative of you thinking like it's just not that great? Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you follow it? There's UFC fighters there. There's blah, 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 like they put on fights. Who cares? Like if I'm a fan of MMA, I want to watch fights whenever I can anyways. I don't necessarily care about it, and it's different. Like NBA, NBA, there is no other product that's even close for basketball. I don't care. But these two are kind of close. Like, I mean, it's the same fighters. It's like if Jordan and Pippen went and played in some other league, like, wouldn't you at least watch it a little bit? I'm sure you would. That shows how old I am too. What should I say? LeBron, DeMar DeRozan or something, whatever. But like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But there might be some like just UFC faithful fans, or to them it's just, I'm just going to stick with UFC. And they don't want to watch something new because they're more familiar with UFC. Because you know how like PFL has like, like rules. It's kind of like a tournament thing. And because I remember watching it for the first time, I was like, how does this work? And, so it's like, so there was a point where do I really want to invest in learning how this works? Or do I want to just stay and watch UFC and, I know how it works,
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you're moving again. You're not frozen anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's weird. Okay, so then, mind you, and I don't have this for the visual, but now I'm looking at it now, like a week or 2 weeks after the UFC post ended up getting 83,000 views. 83,000 likes. And the PFL one got not even 11,000. So, I mean, it's not that bad. Like when you look at their total, because I think UFC has like 10 times the number, 12 times the number of followers, but still the likes are, and you got to think like those are the hardcore fans maybe that would be liking. So I don't know. I feel like is indicative. Okay, let's take it on a little bit more. And this is at my friend at MMA Gains, who I tell you guys all the time, go follow at MMA Gains because he breaks down the gains that fighters make in social media from like the week before their fight to the week after. Okay. Very interesting data if you're a nerd. Okay. So I'm going to show you what the winners of the PFL championships gained in number of followers. the winners. These are the $1 million winners. What they got in social media gains after their pay-per-view where they won the championship, $1 million. Versus the losers of a UFC fight night. Okay? The winners of $1 million PFL championship season versus the losers of a UFC fight night. This is thank you to @MMA Gains. Here it is on screen, right? It's freaking so close. For those not on the video, the PFL guys got 1.4 thousand, 3.6, 1.9, 1,000, 3.4 thousand, 3,000 new social media followers. The losers of UFC Fight Night, 1.5 thousand, 400, 1.2 thousand, 3,000. The losers. Like, that is crazy to me too. Crazy because it shows like the fans just aren't there. They're just not, like, it's crazy that you're going to follow the loser of a fight night. That's like on the prelims versus, and I'm not calling these people losers, by the way, but you know what I mean? Like, they obviously, right? Versus the winners of the $1 million.
Well, the thing is, were they aware that, one, there was a PFL tournament with those fighters in it?
But how long?
Because there might be more people watching the UFC fight with the guys and the fighters that didn't win the fight.
How long can your champions be gaining 3,000 followers? Because remember, fighting is an opportunity. It's not a career. Like, these guys need to do this, gain their social media following, become Sam Alvey, and be able to have a monetized YouTube channel and have people watching that are going to pay you and get you money, get endorsements, get whatever. Yeah. If you're the winners in this league and you're not getting that person, well, hey, look, my fighting career is only going to last so long. I need to leverage this later. Maybe I go to UFC instead, grow my social media following through some wins and successes. That might pay out longer in the long run. And that's why when they say like, well, PFL pays more, blah, blah. Yeah, but over time, like that's what you got to think about. So that to me is very concerning. Again, I love that kind of data because I'm like, it's something showing there, What any comment on that elsewise, or
I just want to give a shout out to MMA Gains. Like, that's really great analysis right there. I love it.
Yeah. No, I love what he does because it really shows like, where people are interested or what they're doing or right, like whatever. But I think if you're a fighter, that's important to know. And then the last thing I would say is, so the Canadian Olivier Aubin-Mercier. He was like the next hot thing. He's a cool kid from Quebec. He's a French kid, kind of like a GSP-ish, right? Like that French Canadian, whatever. Wins the $1 million for the second time in a row. He's young. I don't know how old this kid is. Let me see if I can quickly figure this out. But Olivier Aubin-Mercier, he is 34 years old, so 34 years young.
Young.
He wins it for the second time. Marketable, handsome dude. Retires after the second win. PFL is like, you son of a bitch. Like, you better get back. Like, he was their guy. And then he retires into the sunset with his $2 million. And that's brutal for PFL too. I'm just saying that. Like, you also, it's funny because then another way that I'm looking at it, I'm like, look, you're giving these guys $1 million. That's a lot of money for some of these guys that maybe would have never had that money.
Yeah.
Of course, they're just going to walk away. But
because to them, it's like, well, I got my money. I'm good. Checking out. Got that cash.
Yeah. Like, Raine, when we get $1 million to sell this podcast, you will never see me again. I will give you your fair share and you will be gone. Like, no one will ever see. Yeah. I think that that's a weird thing too. I also think that the way that they're giving the money is a little bit funny because I think it might encourage more people like Olivier Aubin-Mercier to skedaddle after you make some money, if you're just like a guy that just wants to live the happy life, right? Like, I don't know. So that's kind of funny too. But anyways, for all those reasons, Raine, I really do not see PFL succeeding. I also think that the numbers were coming out on the Tyson Fury versus Ngannou boxing. It did not sell well at all, apparently. Really? No, it did not sell well. I think it's pretty understood that it did not sell well. I mean, if that's not going to sell well, how is Ngannou fighting in PFL going to sell well? Like when you try to sell pay-per-view, you're going to sell more than him fighting the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time in Saudi Arabia or wherever the hell they were. You're going to sell it. You're going to sell a better fight with Ngannou fighting some guy that who knows who it is in Denver, Colorado. No offense to Denver, Colorado. Like, it's just not going to happen. You're just not going to get the buys. And so your money's just going to bleed eventually. So you got nothing. But I don't know, Raine.
Well, they got to market really good. I mean, it's all about, selling that story. And you hope that people will be like, you know what? I really want to see this fight.
Yeah. Yes, but what I'm saying is nobody is going to be better than Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
That you put across from Ngannou. So whatever the sales were for that, if that was considered not that great, it's only going to be less when he fights with PFL. But anyways, I just wanted to show people some data there. I wanted to let people know about that 1FC article. It's on Bloody Elbow. So if you search Bloody Elbow 1FC, I'm sure you'll figure out where that article is, where it shows that they're losing money and that it's almost game over time, which is very, very scary. But let's hope for everybody to be the best, because like Sam Alvey said, it's so important for there to be multiple organizations for more people to have opportunity, right? Because we need there to be lots of opportunity for people so they can go everywhere and succeed and make money. But we have to support them to be able to make the money. Like that's your job. Like people listening to this podcast, you got to go out there and freaking follow Sam Alvey on his Instagram and on his YouTube.
And YouTube.
Watch a few videos here and there. Like that's how you help these people, right? Like I know that not everyone's going to go out and buy a Sam Alvey t-shirt, but you should. But you can do little things like just watching his videos and stuff like that. So do that stuff, right? Raine, aside from that, I did want to put this back up, and I should have done this earlier in the podcast, but it is your birthday drive, birthday donation. It is coming up. The big birthday, December 19th. You finally turned 25 years old. Go support Raine for her birthday. She's doing all those wonderful things. Raine, where can they find this post? This is on your Instagram, obviously.
Yeah. So the poster for my birthday donation drive is on my Instagram at Ringside Raine. So please help me support Second Chances Rescue, which is a rescue group that rescues dogs. That's where I adopted my dogs, Joey and Professor. And I have an Amazon wish list filled with like dog food, dog essentials. If you want a cameo from me, all of cameos requested from me between November 19th till December 19th. All of the proceeds will go towards this birthday donation drive, or you can also donate via Venmo or PayPal so I can purchase some dog food and essentials at Costco.
Yes. So go do that, people. Go do that. I'm not even selling t-shirts or anything right now. I've got nothing. That said, if you want to message me and you want some free swag, I do have like phone holders, stickers, whatever. I'll mail you stuff for free. I don't care. Just let me know if you want some stuff. But if you've got money to spare, go help out Raine for a very good cause. Of course, we both love animals, Raine. And I think that's it. Next week. Again,
shout out to those who donated already, by the way. I've been receiving Amazon packages lately. And the first time I received this random Amazon package, I was like, what the hell did I order? And then I opened it and I realized, oh my God, people are starting to give me, stuff for my donation drive. So thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. And I missed Black Friday and I missed Cyber Monday because I'm like, oh, I should get Raine stuff on the deal day. And I totally forgot Raine. I'm still going to do it, mind you. I haven't forgotten. I'm going to do it, of course, but I totally missed the sale. So that sucks. Stupid. Aside from that, Raine, we're going to get out of here. We're good on time here. We had a wonderful guest with Sam Alvey. Next week will be great. The other guest that we might have tomorrow morning that we're going to save for later in the year. That's going to be fantastic. We've got that all lined up. Yeah. And then we're almost down to our end of year show. We're going to have to pick like the best fight of the year, the best fighter of the year, stuff like that. We'll do some categories, which I have to manage all that and figure that out. But aside from that, would you like to say, you've got your Spanish class coming up. Did you want to say goodbye to everyone in Spanish or say something in Spanish?
Sure. I'll just say adios. Gracias for listening to the podcast.
Oh my God.
I'm so terrible in Spanish. So.
Really?
Yeah, I got to the level where I can like read it, but I'm not confident like speaking it. So
all right. Because
hey, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Like our good friend Joe Martinez, I love when he's able to say the Spanishy names with a little bit of flair. You know, I like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
When your boy Timmy B did the weigh-in special or did the weigh-in show for Fight League Atlantic, I did say Mexico. Because there were there were three guys from Mexico, and when I said, how do I say your name and blah, blah, they go, Mexico, blah, 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 and they said it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to respect it, and I'm going to say it the way you say it. So, but yeah. Anyways, you were going to say?
No, I remember meeting Johnny Vasquez for the first time, and I was like, oh, your nickname is Kryptonita? And he said, yeah. And then so when I announced it, it was like Kryptonita.
Yeah.
Vasquez.
Yeah, I love it.
He was like, so happy because, you know, I said it like, you know, without like, you know, my Kryptonita Vasquez. It wasn't like that. So.
Yeah. Don't do the Valley Girl Kryptonita.
No.
All right, guys. So we're out of here. Raine, thank you so much. It was lovely. We forgot to do our still photo of Sam before we started, so we messed that up again. The thing. Anyways, we'll figure out. He surprised me. So, guys, goodbye. Raine, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.